Hi, welcome to another exciting landscape project. If you were with us last time, you saw us begin cleaning in the backyard and grading, really opening up the view for the homeowners here. Also in the front, we've installed these tall cabbage palms to give this Mediterranean-style home a little bit of height and character to the entrance as well as some other parts of the landscape. The before and afters are soon to be here, so stay with us for another designer's landscape. Okay, we're going to kind of start in the backyard here because we've started laying sod toward the front and it's looking pretty good. I thought I'd really take an opportunity to show you what bed lines we have back there. If you look at the landscape plan that we had, it didn't show this driveway, the sidewalk in the back. And at our request, really, from the screened enclosure door, doesn't this make a lot of sense? The homeowners are going to traffic here from time to time, all the time, in and out, back and forth, as well as guests. And so it really services well to get to the back porch and the pool. Now here the guys have really brought the sod line up to this point at the corner of the drive. With these trees, we want a bed, but let's kind of break the rules. Look how the neighboring bed under this tree is shaded. And so our point here was to come off the corner of the driveway, just join right into him. Now we'll draw the back sod line back in here too, so that we've got these somewhat two beds, so to speak. But again, we can make this look like one continuous thought from here to the neighbor, and that's really one way to do it. So on the corner of the drive here, I take off with a nice smooth curve, and I want to make this like a big gumdrop. So I'm going to make a nice, easy to mow huge circle coming close to this pallet. We weave inside here. This is the other bed I want you to see. I'm trying to take advantage of this a little curve radius of the sidewalk. So I'm thinking, let's come in here with another bed. Again, we don't want to get too carried away, but this will help somewhat break up just a big, vast, void turf. And as it goes in, we'll show you. Then it's going to give us some interest in meander. Come around close, let's show you what's around the corner here. Talk about this little circular bed. The grass line, I'm kind of touching, even though it's a circle, I'm touching next to the sidewalk so that we can get off or on our little sod path here. I had them place two pallets close to the trees so they're not in the middle of the bed lines, and we can somewhat see what we're trying to do here. But follow me around the back because we kind of run out of, excuse me Todd, we run out of embankment here and get kind of short. Tight in here, some plants. Let's bring some grass in here to stabilize really this embankment. When we think back, the palmettos were growing crazy and wild, and we trimmed and clipped them with a track hoe and got as much out of there as we can. A little more cleanup, but again, the grass is going to have to be really cut with a string trimmer rather than mowed back here because of the steep incline. And we just kind of end it, but yet stabilize it from wash and everything. I just absolutely love it when a plan comes together. The installation of these palm trees. I want you to look back and reflect on the big ones by the front entrance. I mean, the guy couldn't get all the way into the hole, so we had to actually help stand those up, packing them in, and now they've been well watered. The robin holly, this ilex robin, I used here last time, a new plant for us, a nice tall shrub. We're going to use it as a foundation plant here and earmark it on the other side of the house for balance, a nice glossy leaf. Look at, now that since we've got the sod lines in, we can now see again how the plant is kind of shaping up the palms here. And now we'll go a little bit taller with some plants close to the house, a couple, maybe 3 layers of lower plants, mixing up our foliage color if we can, so that everything's just not green on green. I do like the glossy robin holly against the I don't know what color you actually call that house, between a taupe and kind of a shrimp or beige, but very interesting. You see the lines, how they connect over here. So we can use our plants now, our ground covers and our smaller varieties, to start somewhere in here in this curve and continue over the drive, over the sidewalk even, so that we can connect all this thought process. That's what we want to do with the plants. This area too is shaping up. I like these easy to mow flowing curves. We weren't able to link this across to the palms, but we're linking from the palms over here to this tree area. What do you say we bring you down a little closer now and talk about some of the other new varieties that we have in store for this landscape that we know will be here for years to come. Okay, let's take the opportunity to look up close at several different varieties of plants that are brand new patents. And friends, we take pleasure and pride in bringing you some of these because they've been researched and developed for the industry for long-term hardiness, cold hardiness and all. Here up close is the beautiful bronze beauty Cleyera, Cleyera japonica. The new flush of growth on here really is a bronzy type color, and then it converts to green over a period of time. We don't have a new flush on here, so take a look inside at one of the cards here. Yeah, and you'll see that beautiful flush of bronze growth. Now that'll provide a little bit of highlight of color here. These need to be pruned, and what I like too is a red petiole right here with the stem, the leaf attaches to the stem, and then this glossy color. The foliage here is just thick and waxy, and it's really a nice plant up close to the house. So as we get away from here, then we'll try to mix up our green color. Remember I mentioned the robin ilex, or the robin holly, another patented plant that grows a little bit taller. These will need to be pruned, and as we thought about on the left side, let's let maintenance-wise, let this guy get up taller and keep these somewhat lower maintained so that we can really accent this corner with a couple different heights of the same plant type or variety. I've also taken the liberty to draw a line inside here. I want something that divides or color contrasting here, but for up close, let's go with a large type of border grass. This is a new patented variety also, called Super Green Giant. Relative to the Evergreen Giant, it has some improved characteristics, as we mentioned last time, that somewhat stays darker, greener, a richer, deeper green. Fungus problems are somewhat very minimal on it, and so it's been tested. It's been proven to, again, do more in the landscape and provide a better look for a longer period of time. I've had the guys bring out some Aztec grass, and Dan's going to help me set these up real quick. I think we can start here with a double row and stretch them all the way on this curve. Jump over the driveway here and somehow make them just kind of trickle down, dead end or die, let's say. While Dan brings us forward from the back. And by the way, we're just setting these up to see what they look like. We may fine tune them, we may see something different, but I thought from the angle that you're looking, it somewhat does paint the picture, showing us the curve or the continuation over the driveway, huh? And that is what we're trying to do, really, to build in this continuity. Whoops, let's let him sit there for a while. Dan's about there, he needs a few more. And I'm winding down as well here. So, you take a look. What do you think? I'm not really sure yet. We're using, really taking the rest of the sod out of here. We had, well, about a quarter of a pallet left over, and that's not bad. I wanted to show you how the backyard is really shaping up because, too, we had a little change involved. Remember the thumb bed that I added over here? Once it was installed, I took a look at it, and gosh, it just seemed like it was too much, too busy. So we want this open area, and we went ahead and sawed that in. Again, that's our last bit. As you take a look from an elevated view, you can see the roll we've created through here, still leaving our trees placed in beds, and also down the embankment. That looks good. Sod, by the way, friends, will stabilize an embankment better than any single plant. So we've utilized that. It's not going to be the easiest of maintenance, probably the toughest to deal with out here. But it's just something we have to work with, that big bank. Also, do you notice the brokenness of the sun here? With these oaks in the backyard, this is really a morning exposure. We get a little more sun in the afternoon, but this will allow us to use some really shade plants or somewhat shade tolerant varieties underneath the canopies here. Well, that's our game plan, at least for the back. Now let's continue in the front, our plant setup and installation. Some changes out here. Let's start with the Aztec grass. Rather than run it continuous across behind me, we broke it up. Matter of fact, we went this way to your right. What I've placed in here is Gentry's Royal Burgundy Barberry. This is a beautiful barberry that has a burgundy stem when it defoliates, but also the foliage color is a contrast for us here. And now behind me, I've used an azalea. We want to talk about it. It's beautiful and it has some flowers on it. Now there's nothing odd or peculiar about an azalea blooming, but friends, this is August. August. The Autumn Embers variety. A new plant, there's several different varieties here. The tag really helps us to appreciate that this is grown in full sun. Friends, a full sun azalea that can go to part shade. It attracts butterflies. Again, this orangish red type flower appears not only in the spring, but in summer and fall as well. So again, a new plant that really helps us to appreciate where things are going in the plant industry, propagating of new material to add extra highlight and color for the landscape. A full sun azalea. What we've done is run them from behind here where the palms were and jump the driveway. Now again, when this blooms, it'll be even more standoutish, more dramatic. And we've taken the super giant border grass here, and our connection point is with the Aztec in this section. So we've broken that line, and what we did here, remember we set up the super giant close to the house here? Come on up, I'll show you what's happened. We've taken the super green giant and replaced it almost one for one with the Aztec grass, a variegated type border grass or Liriope. Why? Well, we had the green lawn, and then we want a contrast here. So once we looked at it and compared it, why, this looks better. Now we've come in too with razzleberry in the center. This burgundy foliated plant will help break up and contrast us between the green Cleyera and the white Aztec grass or the variegation here, and it travels in a nice curve right through the middle of the palm trees. I really like the way that looks. This is coming together and these are ready to be installed. So Aztec here, Aztec in the center where we came from. Let's consider the left side. We've also put two little quarter circles or a half circle of African iris at the impact point along the steps in the entry. But let's do our comparison. Our third patch of Aztec grass is right over here. So when you pass by, you look at the front, you've got left, you've got right, and you've got center, but a little bit of off center too. With the loropetalum, the razzleberry that creeps behind it still does that dividing work. This side was a little shorter, so the razzleberry stops and starts again. With this void on the wall, what do you think about the East Palatka holly? We've set it up here, and this will be beautiful through the winter months and can be trimmed or maintained to somewhat, again, fill this void with just lower plants underneath. Give us a little time. Let's install some of these, and we'll work our way around some other areas of the property. As a landscape contractor, I'm always interested in trying to, after we set up the plants, get them exactly where they need to go. And this is one little tip, is to take the container, rub it a little bit, and it leaves an impression, a mark right on the soil. That way you know you're going to dig the hole exactly where you need to. We talked about the holly tree we have placed in the wall. We put a couple on this area, on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side of the drive. So we've got a triangle of holly trees out front, and the ilex shillings that I'm installing here comes and runs underneath both trees and ends up back over here. Now underneath here we need, well, some color, maybe some lantana, something to really make an impression. I also like the way over here the African iris, kind of a tropical look, and it goes underneath and through the palm trees around to anchor the corner of the house. I kind of want to show you what's happening around the side of the house. We have installed a holly tree here that really adds this impact. Can you imagine the blank void wall? Well, the holly's going to help. We'll kind of let this guy go and get as tall as he can. I just finished laying out some of the African iris by the garage, and we've continued that thought process here on both sides of the service entry, beside the garage, into the laundry room there. And really with the Aztec grass now that loops over and goes this way, we've used the Cleyera to kind of help the wall there as a foundation plant. And then we need some color under here, maybe some lantana, something really bright and colorful that helps the homeowner enjoy this part because they travel in and out. Matter of fact, let me take you inside. We went in to look at the impact that the palm trees had. And from the landing by the steps, looking out the stretch of the palm trees there outside the window, really beautiful. Even over the bonus room, instead of looking at a blank sky, so to speak, the palm trees help accent or highlight the window. In the upstairs bedrooms as well, both on left and right side, these palm trees, if you took the opportunity to light them at night with nightscaping or night lighting, it would provide impact daytime and night. But it was important to me to really show you these focals, how the palm trees from inside are going to be enjoyed and viewed as well as out. Now, before we get showered on, it's that afternoon time again. Let's take a look, since we have the mulch and this part completed. Let's go back and reflect even. Do you remember when we set these 3 palm trees to the right front of the door? Palm tree number 1, number 2, and 3. What an impact, what an impression they made. Then soon after that, I drew the lines here that are now somewhat really established. I drew the ideas. We put the grass where we wanted it, and we started placing our plant material in a way that reads on these curves. It makes all the difference. Go back and look at before and afters from this one angle alone on the right side of the entrance. Now, when it comes to the front here, we talked about bringing in that one extra plant, and so the low juniper, the blue Pacific, have worked here, both left and right of the entrance, and it kind of eases across the way there. Come on, if you will, and let's examine this before and after. Remember, before we installed the palm trees, number 1 going in, this big tall guy back in the corner that we had to place by hand. Number 2, number 3, and finally, our finished look with Aztec to kind of mimic both sides, the Cleyera behind us, and the razzleberry were somewhat complete. This is really looking good. Let's take a gander across at the semicircle area. Do you remember what seemed like just moments ago, combining the 2 episodes naturally, before the palm trees were in, just kind of flat and open, even before the driveway was installed and placed? Well, with that now, this other addition of palm trees out here in the semicircle drive has given us our triangle. You know, we talk about using odd numbers, and we've done that. Left, right, and center. And then the plants too, the repetition, the nice azaleas and all. We're happy the way it's shaped up. We hope the homeowners enjoy this for years to come. Some color over here. What we've done is come in with some yellow pom-pom mums to actually highlight the driveway here. Let's go back and reflect on this other palm planting. The 3 out here by the garage. Before and after, what a difference, what an impression. And we really needed that height along the garage door here, or this side with the bonus room at least. For the Designer's Landscape, I'm Gary Allen. I'll see you soon.